Today we're doing Math 6, Mission 3, Lesson 8, more about constant speed. All right, while training for a race, Andre's dad ran 12 miles in 75 minutes on a treadmill. If he runs at this rate, how long would it take him to run 8 miles? How far could he run in 30 minutes? Okay, so I got a ratio. So I'm gonna set my table up and we're gonna go from here. So we have miles and we have minutes. So he runs 12 miles in 75 minutes, okay? Now, how long would it take him to run 8 miles? Well, we're going down to 8, but it's really hard to go from 12 to 8. So instead, I'm gonna go down to a unit rate. I'm gonna go down to 1. So what do I do to get from 12 to 1? Well, I multiply by the reciprocal, 1 over 12. So that's like dividing 12 divided by 12, or 12 times 1/12 to get to 1. So what am I going to do to that 75? I'm going to multiply by 1/12. So that gets me 75 twelfths, because writing a fraction like this is the same as doing 75 divided by 12. So I have 75 twelfths. From there, I now need to go up to 8. Well, what am I going to do to get from 1 to 8? I'm going to multiply by 8. So I'm going to do that same thing here. I'm going to do 75 twelfths times 8 over 1, right? So, and I'm going to cross reduce to make this easier for myself, okay? So I know that 4 goes into 8, and that leaves me with 2. And I know 4 goes into 12, and that leaves me with 3. So I have to do 75 times 2. So that's 10, carry the 1, 15, 150 over 3. So, and I know 15 divided by 3 is 5, and then I have this 0. So he can run 8 miles in 50 minutes. That's how long it takes him. Now, how far could he run in 30 minutes? Well, I have 75 minutes, 50 minutes, and 75 twelfths of a minute. So I need to go down to 1. So what am I going to do? I'm going to do 75 divided by 75, or times 1/75. And that's what I'm going to do to this 12 over here too. So 12 times 1/75 is 12 divided by 75. So 12 75ths. Now I need to go from 1 to 30 minutes. So I'm going to do 12 75ths times 30. So here we go. 12 75ths times 30 over 1. Okay, so let's do that. 12 times 3 is 36. That's 360 divided by 75, right? All right, so we're going to do, how many times does 75 go into 360? Well, it goes 4. And how many do we have left over? Well, 75 times 4 75 times 4. There we go. That's what I wanted to do. 7 times 4 is 20. 4 times 5 is 20. 7 times 4 is 28 plus 2 is 30. So that's 300. And I have 60 left over. 60 out of 75. Those that can both be reduced. Okay. So 60, that gets me 4 8/10, or we can do 4.8, doesn't matter. So how far can they go? 4 8/10 of a mile, or 4.8 miles. There you go. All right, activity 1. Kieran and Claire live 24 miles away from each other along a rail trail. So that is a trail that used to have railroad tracks, but they don't anymore. That's what a rail trail is. One Saturday, the two friends started walking toward each other along the trail at 8 a.m. with a plan to have a picnic when they met. Kieran walks at a speed of 3 miles per hour, while Claire walks 3.4 miles per hour. After 1 hour, how far apart will they be? Well, you have them walking a distance, right? So Kieran walks 3 miles per hour. and it asks us for 1 hour. How far apart are they? Claire walks 3.4 miles, right? So if we add those together, that gets us 6.4 miles total that both of them together have walked. But it says, how far apart will they be? So Kieran starts here. Claire starts over here. They have a total mileage of 24 miles apart that they need to walk, right? So Kieran, after an hour, has gone 3 miles, and Claire, after an hour, has gone 3.4 miles. So we want to know what this distance is. So we're going to take this, their combined mileage, and subtract it from 24 because that's the total that they have to go. So 24 minus 6.4, so we got to add that 0. So 10, that's 6. We got to borrow 13, 7. So how far apart will they be? 17.6 miles. Okay, now it says make a table showing how far apart the two friends are after 0 hours, 1 hour, 2 hours, and 3 hours. All right, so we have time and we have distance apart. This is not distance that they traveled, but it's distance apart. So this table is going to be different than the ones we've done in the past. So at 0 hours, they are 24 miles apart because they haven't walked anywhere. After 1 hour, we know they are 17.6 miles apart. Dang it. Okay, so I'm going to go again. So we have time, and we have distance apart. So at 0, they still have 24 miles to walk. At 1, we know they went 17.6. Even though it erased on me, you can go back and look at that. They went 17.6 because 1 is walking 3 and 1 is walking 3.4. And so when we add those together, it's 6.4. That's how much they combined total can go in an hour. So we're doing 24 minus 6.4. Now, after 2 hours, right, we double their unit rate. So 6.4 times 2, right? So 6.4 times 2, it's 8, it's 12, 1 behind the decimal, 12.8. So we're going to do 24 minus 12.8. And that gets us 11.2 miles. So after 2 hours, they will only be 11.2 miles apart. Then, after 3 hours, we're going to take our unit rate of 6.4, because that's how much they can go combined together in an hour, and we're going to multiply it by 3 hours. So 4 times 3 is 12. 6 times 3 is 18, plus 1 is 19. So they go 19.2. So we have to take that 24 and subtract 19.2. So that gets us 4.8. So after 3 hours, they're 4.8 miles apart. Okay, the next one says, at what time will the two friends meet and have their picnic? All right, so we know that it takes them 6.4 miles in 1 hour. They can go 6.4 miles in 1 hour. So we need to know how long it takes them to go 24 miles. So how do you get from 6.4 to 24? Well, you have to multiply 6.4 times 24 over 6.4 because you got to get rid of that 6.4. So that would look like this. Right? Because when we have a number in a numerator and a number in the denominator that are the same, we can reduce them to 1. So that would leave us with 24. So what am I going to do to that 1? I'm going to multiply that 1 by 24 over 6.4, And that gets us this answer. Well, we need to do that. So we're going to do, we cannot do 24 divided by 6.4 because we can't have a decimal. So we're going to move that decimal over 1, and we're going to move this decimal over 1. So we're really going to do 240 divided by 64. So 64 goes into 2, 0 times. 64 goes into 24, 0 times. So how many times does 64 go into 240? Well, it goes 3 times evenly, which gets us 192. So that leaves us 48, and we pull that down, 480. So 64 goes into 480. 7 times is as close as we can get with 448, which leaves us with 32, right? And then our 0. 64 goes into 320. 5 times, and that gets us 320, and we are done. So 64 divided by 6.4 gets us 3.75. So that's 3 hours and 75 hundredths of an hour. Okay, so that would really be 3 hours and 45 minutes. Yeah, 45 minutes. 3 hours and 45 minutes. 3 hours, 45 minutes. Ooh, that one was a lot. All right. Karen says, if I walk 3 miles per hour towards you and you walk 3.4 miles per hour towards me, it is the same as if you stayed put and I jogged 6.4 miles per hour. What do you think Kieran means by this? Is he correct? Well, Kieran's here, Claire's here. They have a combined mile per hour of 6.4, right? Because Kieran was walking 3 miles per hour and Claire was walking 3.4 miles per hour. So Kieran is actually saying, Claire, you stay here, you don't move, and instead I am going to run 6.4 miles per hour. And that would be the same as both of us walking. What do you think Kieran means by this? That's what he means. He is going to be the one doing the running. Okay? So the only difference is by the end, Kieran will be down here with Claire at Claire's house instead of meeting in the middle like they had planned in the previous one. All right, several months later, they both set out at 8 a.m. Okay, so now we have 8 a.m. This time with Kieran jogging and Claire still walking 3.4 miles per hour. This time they meet at 10:30 a.m. How fast was Kieran jogging? All right, so it takes them 8 to 10:30. That's 2.5 hours. That's faster than here because up here it took them 3 hours and 45 minutes. So this only takes 2.5 hours. Okay. So Claire is walking at 3.4 miles per hour. So we need to know what she's walking at how far she's walking in the 2.5 hours. Okay. So we're going to do 3.4, which is her unit rate, times the hours it takes, 2.5 hours. Okay. So 5 times 4 is 20, 15, 17, that's 8, that's 6. And I have 2 numbers behind the decimal, so I'll move it over 1. So she goes 8.5 miles. All right, now we need to subtract from the total 24 miles that they have to travel. Okay, so that's 15.5. So Kieran travels 15.5 miles in 2.5 hours. Okay, so we have 15.5 miles in hours, 2.5 hours. So we need to know how fast he's jogging, we need to go down to 1. Well, you divide by 2.5. So I'm going to do 15.5 divided by 2.5. But remember, we can't have these decimals, so I'm going to change it into 25 and 155. Okay? So that gets me so 25 goes into 1 0 times. 25 goes into 15 0 times. 25 goes into 155 6 times. 25 times 6 is 150. And that leaves us with 5. We have to put a 0. 25 goes into 50 2 times, because 2 times 25 is 50. And we're done. So he is traveling 6.2 miles per hour. How fast is Kieran jogging? 6.2 miles per hour. Okay, that is the end of our lesson. Please review your lesson summary.